The basement door slammed above us, shaking dust from the ceiling beams. The lock clicked, sharp and final, from the outside. My heart froze. Because the footsteps walking away belonged to our own son. Before my panic could turn into a scream, my husband touched my arm and whispered, "Quiet. I have a secret." And in that moment, trapped in the cold dark, I realized this wasn't a nightmare. This was the truth we had been running from for years, finally catching us. The smell of damp concrete wrapped around us as the light bulb flickered overhead, threatening to die completely. I pressed both palms against the basement door and shouted our son's name, Evan. "Honey, open the door, this isn't funny." I waited for the shuffle of his feet, the familiar huff of annoyance, anything, but there was only silence. My husband, Daniel, reached me and gently pulled me back. His face wasn't panicked, it was tired. A tiredness I had seen building in him for months. "He's not coming back to open it," Daniel said quietly. "What are you talking about? He's our son, he wouldn't just." "He would," Daniel whispered, looking down. The words sliced through me. Evan had changed. We both knew it, but I had never wanted to admit how deep the cracks ran. He used to be sweet, the kind of kid who picked up worms off sidewalks to save them from shoes. But somewhere around his 15th birthday, something in him shifted. He grew distant. Cold. Private. The darkness followed him, like he was carrying storms in his pockets. I shook my head. "No. He's scared. He's confused." "Something must have happened." "Something did happen," Daniel interrupted softly. "A long time ago." His eyes met mine with that same silent plea I'd ignored too many times. "Please don't panic," he whispered. "Quiet. I have a secret." My breath caught. Before I could ask what he meant, a loud scrape echoed above us, furniture being dragged across the floor. Evan was barricading the door. "What is he doing?" I whispered, trembling. Daniel's jaw tightened. "He's preparing. He thinks he has to protect himself. But he's wrong, and I should have told you everything long before today." I stared at him, my voice shaking. "Told me what?" He hesitated for a long, awful moment. "The reason Evan is like this, the reason he's scared of us, is because of what I did. And what I hid." The light bulb flickered again, and the basement suddenly felt much, much smaller. Daniel sank onto an old wooden crate, burying his face in his hands. I sat beside him because even in fear, even in confusion, love instinctively pulled me toward him. "Tell me the truth," I whispered. "All of it." He inhaled shakily. "It started 3 years ago," he said. "When Evan told me he was hearing things." My stomach twisted. "Hearing things? Like voices?" Daniel nodded. "He said the house spoke to him. That shadows followed him. I thought it was stress, or imagination. I told him it would go away." His voice broke, but it didn't. I remembered the nights Evan would sit awake, staring at corners as if something was staring back. I remembered the drawings he'd rip up and throw away before we could see them. I remembered the way he'd flinch when we entered a room too quickly, like he'd been caught doing something he shouldn't. All the signs were there, I just hadn't wanted to believe them. "But what did you hide from me?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Daniel swallowed. "The voices told him I was dangerous." "What? Why you?" "Because I made a mistake," he whispered. "A terrible one." He explained that when Evan first confessed his fears, Daniel had panicked and tried to confront it with logic, discipline, structure, force. He had locked Evan in his room for a night when the boy tried to run away, thinking it would reset him. It was only one night, Daniel said, but in Evan's mind, it became a prison. He looked at the basement ceiling and now, he thinks he's returning the favor. That we're the danger. That he has to trap us before we hurt him. A cold wave rolled through me. "So he's scared of us?" "He thinks he's protecting himself." Daniel nodded. I pressed my forehead against my knees, fighting tears. "How do we fix this?" Daniel looked at me with a spark, tiny, but alive. "By reaching him," he said. "Not with fear. Not with force. But with the one thing he's forgotten he still has." "Which is?" "Us," he whispered. "Our voices. Our love. If we stay calm, if we remind him who we are, he might open that door." Hope flickered between us like the fragile bulb overhead, but then footsteps approached, slow, heavy, distorted by the floorboards. He stood right above us, silent, and as the basement settled into a terrifying stillness, I realized this wasn't just a story about being locked in a basement. It was a story about a family trapped inside their own unspoken fears and fighting to break free.